We were over in the States doing as well, if not better than the Stones, and yet there wasn't not a line in a British music paper. It was all the Stones front page, the Stones this and the Stones that. You know, in every paper we looked at, you know, we just got a bit pissed off. I thought, well, fucking hell, it's like an haircuts there. And we might as well be in like bloody Ceylon, you know, playing there because the kids don't even know where we were or anything. But it came over a bit wrong because it made it sound as though we thought the kids was, you know, we'd been neglected as a group, not just by the papers.
But you know, as a band, the bands seem to have purposely avoided the media, TV, radio. I mean, you've done about 2 radio shows. Never ever seen the band on TV or anything, you know.
Well, what can I say?
What can you say? What can you? You know. I mean, we could have Tony Blackburn introducing you one week.
Well, you know.
I mean, what happened to the film you were going to make at one time?
Well, all this sort of stuff, you know, is still around that we've already started to do. But the trouble is, you know, with the television people, they just want to do so many different things. You know, they want to run the whole thing. You know, and we went so far, you know, from the beginning without using it, without having to go on and mine them, without having to bribe to get a record played and all this. That now we found that we get on better without it, you know, because then the only person who makes the decisions is that, you know, is us, the group, and you know, we work as like a 5-piece thing, 4 group, and Peter, and we decide then where we're going to go in a year, what we're going to do, how many albums we're going to put out, and we've got nobody pushing us so that we don't put out a bad album, or that nobody tells us, you know, you've got to put out a single, or you've got to do a telly show, and that's why we've never bothered. You know, I mean, I think if somebody did a really what I thought was a great show on the telly, then it'd be worth doing. But at the moment, you know, it just seems a bit.
I mean, have you ever thought
pony.
of hiring a director and cameraman and making something yourselves? You know.
Well, I suppose we will when we get round to it. You know, it's one of those things that's probably we've thought of a few times, and we'll do when we get to it. Really, you know.
The band seems to set its own pace. I mean, you don't really overwork.
No. Well, you can do. I mean, we could probably do like 12 tours of the States a year and probably do as well on every one, but I don't know, for a start off I wouldn't want to do 12 tours a year. And then you get so you're ramming, you know, instead of the kids just coming to see you because they want to, they're just going to come for the sake of it in the end, because they're going to see you so many times in a year that there'd be no odds.
Do you find that, you know, I mean, there was a difficulty at first getting the band going. What are the difficulties now? Do you think the band sometimes becomes too big?
Well, I don't know. I think now, in the beginning, you know, everybody had got nobody could say a bad word for us, you know, and now is all they want to do is sort of find a way in which they can knock us. Like you get letters sent up, you know, in the back of papers that say like Led Zeppelin not playing anymore. They're too busy buying country mansion and Rolls Royces, you know, and there ain't one in the group who owns a Rolls for a start. So it's all false information. That they've read out of different articles that people have assumed that's what we're doing. You know, I'm living in the same bloody house now as I lived in, you know, when we from the word go. So and so's Robert, and this, you know, nobody's changed that much, and we ain't got Rolls Royces, but we're just doing things, you know. But they don't know what we're doing because nobody's telling them, you know. That's where it comes adrift. They all think we just relax, you know, and all that.
I mean, how long do you really sort of spend on an album?
As long as it takes to make it to what we want, which can vary, you know. I mean, we're still working on the album now. But I don't know, we never actually sort of start an album and say, right, we're starting now and we're going to finish. You know, we do it as the songs get written. And we get together and work them out. Then we go in the studio and do them. When we got enough, then we mix it all down. And we got an album. We don't actually, see, we're sort of recording constantly almost, you know, and we don't sort of go into the purpose of making an LP as such.
You just go make songs.
Yeah, and then, you know, when it comes on, we think, well, it's time for an album. You know.
When you look over, I mean, there's 4 albums on the market now. When you look back on them now, do you find those are representative of the band at that particular growth?
I think so, for that time.
Yeah.
The only thing that often, well, I say often, that can happen with albums is if you sometimes get trouble getting them out from sort of record company, different things. There can be, say you get a couple of problems. It can take longer to get out than you expected, in which case, you know, you've already sort of on to probably doing some more tracks by it. But, you know, not usually. It's usually pretty a good representation of what we're doing at that time, I think, anyway, from looking back. It's hard to remember the early
Do you
ones.
find any limitations on just the lineup, you know, after all this time?
No, I don't think so.
When did you send it?
You know, I mean, like, it's different, like the Stones added 3 guys, or they have got the...
I don't know answer to that.
No, I would just say, you know, that, alright, you can play all the instruments between you, but I mean, say sometimes when it comes on stage, basically it's guitar, bass, drums and voice. I mean, are there certain things that you might want to do that you can't do because of the lineup?
Well, I don't know. We never actually sort of come across that yet.
Yeah.
Because like, you know, we've always managed to pull it off pretty well on stage. You know, compared with some acts that I've seen. You know, name would a few. But
Name 100.
yeah, right. But I don't think so. I think with the act that we do, and we keep sort of doing fresh material and progressing. So, and I think if we were to tour all the time, the kids would, you know, because we probably wouldn't. But when we go to America once a year, that once a year means that we're completely different each time we go. So it's still, you're not conning them, you know. You're still saying, come and see us, because it's different.
Yeah.
Rather, if you did that many tours in a year,
Yeah.
you know, they're going to be seeing the same stuff.
So really, you've got to the point now that you've got an album comes out, and your act is based sort of on the album, and say selected things from past albums.
Well, no, it's not based on the album really. Like we've got tracks from each album, which we still do. Like on the last tour of America, we added we were doing 2 or 3 new cuts that were gonna be on the next album. But you know, I mean, it just gets longer because you know we like what we do, so we don't really want to drop any others, and we have, you know, we find the sets get longer and longer. But it never feels long if you're enjoying yourself. You know, I've never actually, you know, you don't watch the clock. I mean, you walk off stage and somebody said, "Struth, you know, you've just been on for over 3 hours." At the time, you don't even think of it, you know, because some of the numbers they're all quite long numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were probably doing loads of 2.5 minute numbers, it seemed like you're on there for days because you get so many in that length of time. It doesn't seem that long. You know, it's, I'd rather do it that way. I don't like, you know, concerts where you put loads of support acts on and then you run on and do like 35 minutes and off.
How do you find the audience? Do you find that you're getting an audience now, a certain section of the audience are just sort of discovering the band, a young crowd?
Probably I've noticed we probably are getting sort of fresh faces, and you always know when this is happening because the sales of the old albums go up again.
Yeah.
Which means they've probably come along and started liking us, and then they bought the 4th album, and then, you know, the previous albums will start selling again, which means there's a few kids.
Led Zeppelin 2 always seems to be selling.
Yeah, that still goes on and on.
Yeah.
And often the album, you know, like the Led Zeppelin 3 will sell because the kids will go and buy 4 and if they haven't got 3. Then they start backlisting, you know, what have they done before, sort of thing. Yeah, I suppose that is happening quite a bit in America at the moment.
Have you found, you know, a big change in, say, in the type of people you get at concerts when you first went over there? I mean, Jag was saying that they seem to get stoned more every year.
Well, I was going to say the opposite, actually, because it was getting like that, but I would have thought the last tour, it didn't seem that bad to me, you know, because it did, at one time, I think probably a year, 2 years ago, it was, you know, you play a concert and everybody seemed to be stoned out, but the last tour, they didn't so much somehow. Probably because it's all on Charlie and not smoking. But they didn't seem so bad. I didn't think they were, you know, especially on the last tour. But I mean, it's always like, if they're going to be, it's always like the major cities anyway. Like Frisco is probably still the same. That's always been like, you know, I mean, we've done shows there, and you look at the audience and they're just they're so out of it, it's ridiculous. But, no, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, the band seems to direct all its musical energies into the band, you know, where you get lots of bands, the guitar players making an album or the singers, you know.
That's right, and it just drifts apart.
Do you get sufficient buzz out of working with each other?
Yeah.
No desire to work with any musicians at all?
No, I think when that happens, really, it's best to just make, you know, if that ever occurs where people start wanting to play with other musicians, they might as well forget it from then on, because then all the ideas go to the other people and not the group, and the group suffers, So that hasn't even occurred. I don't think it will really, because on the last tour we seemed to be sort of, it was a sort of a great atmosphere between the group ourselves. We had a really good tour. We really enjoyed it, and the group, we were also really close on the tour, and you could feel it when we were in the playing. The playing was, I thought we played probably the last tour, we were playing better than we have for a long time. We really were sort of really getting into it. It was a really good tour, actually.
At a time when sort of egos abound everywhere, there's been a very strong internal rapport between everybody in the band. What do you think has kept that going? I mean, there's nobody in Zeppelin that's on an ego trip that will affect the music of the band.
No, but I don't know. There again, I mean, it's hard to sort of put it down to a particular thing. Yeah.
But I mean, sometimes you get a band where it's just there's one guy in the band who's just there to overshadow, sod the rest of you.
Well, you couldn't in our group because it's just the four of us are just, I mean, if one bloke started getting like that, he'd probably get like his gear torn off or thrown in the sea or something like that. It'd never happen. Because that's usually in groups where they all sort of travel like this, they're all sitting and they're worlds apart in everything. But I mean, with air, like, you couldn't. I mean, you've only got to start, like, one night, it's sort of, Robert will do a bit of sort of, a bit more spiel than he normally does about a particular song, we're all going like, like, it's a ridiculous band for that. You just can't, like, fool anybody. One member in the group can't fool any other. And you really suffer if you try any of that, really. Any one member of the band. I mean, you've only got to sort of, like, be in a bit of a mood one day, and you can't stay in a mood for long, because you just get ripped to shreds. It's just one of those groups, really. Probably why, that it's worked. It's like marriages that are like that. And if you see people get married, and they probably have but whenever rare, it's like a real sort of throw in the furniture and everything. But after that, it's all over. Whereas you get the people who go on for weeks without talking to each other, and all that, that's the worst.
Well, you get that with certain bands, they don't even talk to each other.
I know, I had, like, when we were in LA, that I was talking to someone in the Stones, they all stay in different hotels. Like, you get sort of like a couple of them in one, and then two in another, and then, that's pretty odd. But I don't know, they all seem to team up with a different, I mean, they've got such a road show on the road.
Well, we have to stay in one fucking room. Can't bed for
them. We stay in the maid quarter, really.
It's like a lot of bands, they get to a position, they think, well, we've sort of, every album we do sells 1 million, we can crack places, what is there to do next? Do you ever get that feeling?
No, I often get, the only feeling I get is whether the next album was going to do that, I don't think you can ever say, oh, it's going to. Well, you suppose you can. You could sit here now and say, oh yeah, it's going to. But I'm really funny about sort of good luck and bad luck superstition, really. I think if I ever said that, I'd be frightened that it wouldn't. I'd rather sort of see. I never count the chickens, really, before before it happens.
So what bands seem to take success for granted. It's going to be perennial and that forever and ever and ever.
That's often, though, if it happens really quick. I mean, with us, it happened over a long. I mean, it took us a year at least. Before we started doing that. On sort of the top line sort of thing. So that's a long time, really. So, in comparison. Because, I mean, you get a band today and they seem to happen overnight, and then they go out just as quick,
Yeah, one album.
The pop bands, it's like, one hit single and the album's usually done, because they usually having to do everybody else's songs and everything, it's just, they just sort of come in and go out. It's really odd, actually, the sort of British pop scene as a thing, because they really, you see, I turn to tell you, I see groups I've never even heard of or seen any live before,
Is everything done virtually live and then overdubbed, or do you do all the different parts separately?
Oh, and that's all the tracks are always done live. Sometimes, often the vocals are put down live, and then as far as overdubs, the only overdubs you're going to get is perhaps a double track vocal or tambourine or extra percussion or guitar solos, but that's about it, we don't really.
A lot of bands go and just put like the bass and drums.
Oh, nah. I don't think I'd like to do that.
Yeah.
Because you lose the blooming atmosphere of the song, you know. Like when you do a take, you know, you've got to get that feel over. And you've got to get it to, you know, if you piss about for too long, cheers. Cheers. Oh, right. And you're going to fight in this one. And you lose the feel of it completely. It goes, you know, if you miss it. So you've got to really get it sort of together and get the feel of the number, and then get it down, you know. Because after that, the more you play it, the more it, you know, you're in the studio for a few hours and you get down the neck a bit, you know, and it starts falling apart.
So, I mean, how long does it really take to put the basic backing track down?
Well, put one down?
Yeah, as far as the band. I mean, do you do, say, 13, 14, 15 takes?
Oh, fucking hell, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I suppose the most we'd ever do is 3 or 4.
Yeah.
You know, we usually like to, you know, and often we will often come back to, say, the first or the second anyway.
Yeah.
Because of the feel, you know, was probably better. Often we try and get her in 1 or 2, because that, you know, you start doing loads of takes, and you've got to then decipher which one was the best anyway, you know. The more you got, the more ridiculous it gets. So it's better just to sort of, once you think you're going to get it, you know, say, right, this is it, you know, get the take going and off, you know.
You know, on Black Dog, I spent loads of time trying to decipher what beating you're doing on that.
I'm Black Dog. I'm playing absolutely straight. I don't change at all, it's only the guitar and bass. But it's the way it comes across the drum. But the drums are playing like, all the way through. It never changes, you see. But it sounds as though it does, you know.
I don't know at first if it was like a tape loop or something you've done. You know.
Oh no.
It's straight.
Yeah. Well, we got some of the tracks we've done for the next album are ridiculous. If you like that sort of thing, there's a couple of gems on the new one. Yeah. Some real sort of absolute winners for that sort of funny times.
Come naturally worked out, you know.
Well, no, because if we do a riff that's in a time like that, it's in that time when it's written. So we don't sort of get a riff and then see what time we can play it in. That riff was. The riff was the riff. It couldn't be played any other way because that was the way it'd been worked on. So that it had to be like that.
There was a rumour going around at one time. I think it was the third album. That the tapes of the third album were stolen once, and had to be re-recorded.
No, we lost a tape once. We lost a master reel once of a few mixes.
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened to that. So I think it was recovered or something. It was found in a studio somewhere. Yeah. There was a panic for a few days. We thought we'd lost one of these master reels, you know. But, turned out all right in the end, thank God. Apparently they were sent in a cab, you see, and when they got there was like one real sort of winner missing, you know. There was a few tracks on it, but I think it was found, because I don't think we have to go and record anything again. I'm sure it was, I think it was found somewhere.
I heard tell that you recorded some live stuff in Japan.
No, in America.
Was it?
We recorded 2 gigs on the West Coast.
Yeah. We're going to call it live on Blue Radio.
But, you know, whether we'll use them yet will be another story, you know. So I don't know. It's in the can, and if we want to listen to it, and, you know, if we're going to use it, we will. But I don't, you know, we won't use it at the present date anyway. You know. I mean, there's that in the camera also. I mean, we've got like, there's loads of tracks now that we've recorded and never used.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what, studio stuff?
Yeah. We always have like a few tracks that we never use on each album.
You never got into this personality cult sort of thing with the band, you know? I mean, perhaps there are certain people that wouldn't know that John Paul Jones is the bass player. You know what I mean?
Now you've got the wrong group, doesn't it, Roy? That's not us. No, we're in the blood.
You know what I mean? There are certain bands...
No, well, at the moment he is playing steel drums in a band currently touring Jamaica. In the major cities, I think.
You know what I mean? You've almost purposely avoided, say, media publicity. It's all been down to the concert and the album.
That's right. Well, that's all people want to read about, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, they don't want to know what sort of car you're driving or what you had for breakfast or any of that rubbish. They want to know Because it's got no bearing on the group. Often interviews, it goes miles away, you know, there's nothing about the group, you know. But the kids, that's what I want to know, really, is what the album, review on the album, and concert reviews, because you won't beat that. The best thing really is for a person to come and see a concert and then perhaps interview, you know, a couple of the lads or whatever afterwards, so it's all in one thing.
Yeah.
But I think those are always the best, because that's what the kids want to see, you know. They want to read about what the concert was like if they didn't go themselves. They don't want to really read about, you know, what bloody artists you like or what albums are about at the moment which you like, really, do they, you know?
Do you feel that in any way it's been a handicap not doing any media, like TV and anything?
Oh, no. No, definitely not.
Yeah. I think it's helped to keep that
yeah, I mean,
freshness.
I don't think I could really stand all that down at the Beeb, you know, on a Wednesday afternoon, whatever it is.
No, because I mean, even at certain time, it must have gone to a period in the band where it could be a dangerous time, when a lot of people haven't seen the band. I mean, there's a lot of people that have never seen Led Zeppelin. Yeah.
But, I mean, if there's a lot of people that haven't seen it, the only reason they haven't seen it is probably because they ain't bothered to go and see it.
Oh, we couldn't get in.
Well, yeah, well, this is it.
Yeah.
Because as far as going on the telly, then you're only going to, you know, I don't see as it's any benefit. I don't think the sort of people who come to our concert or buy albums would be the sort of people that actually watch a lot of telly anyway. They never seem to be that sort of type of people.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're on the telly, you've only got all the mums and dads turning you off as soon as you come on anyway, you know.
I always thought that maybe you'd have done a special, or maybe you'd done a film.
Every hour that we do, at this stage, I always think it's the best one we've done. And I still feel the same about this next one that's going out. Now, me, Robert and myself are playing some of the tracks on Sunday that were mixed, you know. And I was, you know, I'm really sort of knocked out. But I always am, you know. I think the time when you're